Hello everyone, welcome to yet another video session for class 9 biology. This is Rakesh Pandey. Today, as you know, we have completed two chapters in biology, the cell and the tissue. Now we have only one chapter left from first term examination syllabus. So today I am starting this chapter and hope you have revised previous two chapters, cell and the tissue chapter. Okay, actually this chapter is quite long, so we'll complete this chapter part wise. Okay, you know this chapter, we have studied this chapter in class 8 also, where we have studied about the crop production and its management. But here in class 9 we need to add some more topics in this chapter and make it to improvement in food resources, how to improve our food resources. Okay, so in this chapter I will try to discover that how crops are going to produce. Okay, not only to produce, how to produce in large quantity using scientific methods, using some sustainable methods, so that we can use our food resources or our natural resources judiciously, so that it will be better for our coming generation. Okay, so uh, as we know that a human body need food. Not only human body, living organisms like plants, microorganisms, lower animals, as well as in human also, food is very important. Food has a very important role in the development of any living organism. Okay, uh, it's very essential, and also food is required for growth, development and body repair. We have already seen in our previous classes. Okay, to protect ourselves we need protein. For example, food supplies protein, carbohydrates, fat. These are the nutrients. That's why we need food. So it's a fundamental right of everyone to get food. Okay. So in this chapter, we'll see how we are going to produce more and more amount of food, how to increase the quality of the food. Okay, in terms of variety improvement, in terms of storage techniques. So other parameters are there. Okay, so every body needs food, and in that food we need different types of nutrients. Okay, so here is some fact, and you should know that uh, after India got freedom after 1947, those who were ruling our country at the time, they have a very huge challenge to provide food to a very large country at the time. At the time, we have very limited resources for food, and that population was increasing day by day. So this is a very huge challenging challenges in front of us. So many scientists came forward and gave idea how to produce more food, especially the staple food. Okay, so the two scientists, the first scientist I want to discuss about the MS Swaminathan. He gave the idea of green revolution. Korean about milk production. Okay, so they adapted the methods to increase food production. Okay, we know that we have very less space for food. We don't have enough land, fertile land to grow food. So we need to adapt some methods, scientific methods, through which we can grow more and more amount of food. And also it helps India to become self-reliant. No need to import food from other countries. Okay, it will be very costly for us. So here is a term which define all these methods, including this, that is called the sustainable agriculture. So what is that? Sustainable agriculture can be defined as the adoption of various farming and production management techniques to maximize agriculture needs. This is, it's defined as the adoption of various farming and production management techniques. We need to accept it, we need to adapt it to maximize our agriculture yield. Okay, earlier few decades ago, people were thinking about that food production is is a work of farmers only. No, it's not like that. Okay, uh, agriculture scientists also helps to grow the crops also. Okay, in a scientific manner. This is a very good, uh, we can say, a chance for entrepreneurs also to grow more and more food, you know, in a different style, in a different methods. Okay, so what are the implementing practices we need to see in sustainable agriculture? The conserving natural resources. We know that natural resources are in a very limited form, so we need to conserve them. Maintaining environmental balance, we need to maintain the balance of the environment. Okay, and after that, coping with changing human needs. It means what? We need to match the requirement of the human. We need to match the advanced lifestyle in which we are living. So from these all things we need to manage it properly. Okay, so these are some of the practices we need to see in sustainable agriculture. Okay, why we need this sustainable agriculture? See, we know that day by day the human population increasing in our country. Okay, and there is some over exploitation of the food also, shelter and urbanization. Day by day we are losing our lands because we are making so many houses, homes, buildings that we are making, and we're making on what? On the land only. And that land may be fertile or non-fertile, but is there no? That's why we need to do sustainable agriculture. And some of the some we can say some natural calamities also present. For example, soil erosion, salinization of soil, desertification, silting of rivers, flood, drought. These are the problems are there only. We have to face it every year. Okay, deforestation, biomagnification. These are the some problems we need to face from the environment. Okay, so to overcome these problems, we need to think about differently how to make grow more and more food through scientific methods. Okay, so there is a concept of sustainable agriculture is developed in these years, and it ensures the agro ecosystem are stabilized. Agro means agriculture, and ecosystem means which includes all living and non-living components. Biotic and abiotic resources are there. So this is should be done. Okay, uh, for long time basis. That's why we need this sustainable agriculture. Now, due to this sustainable agriculture and revolutions, so many agriculture revolutions takes place in India. So I have compiled this for you all. Just remember this, memorize this. It will be very helpful for you. For example, one by one we'll discuss here the food grain production, which is called the green revolution. More and more amount of cereals or grain we need to produce. This is called the green revolution. All these are done by using scientific methods only. This is possible after the using of scientific methods only. Okay. Milk production, that called white revolution, egg production silver revolution, milk meat production called pink revolution, fish production means blue revolution. After that, oil production yellow, cotton production, more and more cotton if we produce, then it will be very helpful for us for the cloth industry, or we can say for textile industry. Okay, we'll start exporting this cotton to different countries who are making fabrics, or we can also set up the industry in our India only, because we are producing a large number of cotton. So this is called the yellow fiber revolution. Production of potato called round revolution, fertilizer production gray, jute production uh, golden fabric revolution. And after that, in the last, the pulses fruit and honey production, which gives the golden revolution. So these are some agriculture revolutions in India, which helps us to grow more and more amount of food in different sectors. For example, we need animals also to grow, to get food, to get milk products. For example, a Korean, we have heard there. So Korean helps us in the white revolution. So we should produce more and more milk and milk products. Okay, so they are also the food resources. Understood? So what are the advantages of sustainable agriculture? Okay, some advantages means that how they helps us uh, through various dimensions. Understood? So one by one we'll see here what are the sustainable agriculture advantages. It achieves the integration of natural biological cycle and controls. Means if we go for sustainable agriculture, that it will be very easy for us to maintain the biological cycle. You know what do you mean the biological cycle, the water cycle, carbon cycle, oxygen cycle. It will be very easy for us to maintain this, and it's necessary to maintain, because if we are not maintaining, that it will be, there will be an imbalance, and it is very harmful for us. Okay. Protect and renew soil fertility is very also important, that soil should be fertile more and more. Every year there should be a soil replenishment. Optimizes the management and use of farm resources, reduces the use of non-renewable resources and purchase production inputs. It will be reduce the use of non-renewable resources which cannot be reused. So it reduces the use. Provides an adequate and dependable form of income. Okay, it will increase our profitability also, and it will provide an opportunity in family farming and farm communities. Okay, so these are the advantages of sustainable agriculture. Through this, we can develop this field in a new way. Okay. So in sustainable agriculture, one more type of farming is there called the organic farming. Have you know about this term organic farming? What do you mean by this organic farming? See, organic farming means it's a type of farming in which we are practicing those methods which do not pollute our environment. Okay, for example, it is the practice of raising crops which have not polluted, and use of, and after that the use of manures, biofertilizer and biopesticides only. Simple funda is this, that use those things which does not produce any pollution. Okay, and whatever we are doing, we should go for natural only. We should not use any those things which cannot be degradable. Okay, so use only those things which can be biodegradable. So that thing should be there. So this is the method we need to see this properly. Okay. After that, some examples are also there. What are the some examples? Like biopesticides are organisms or their extract which repel or kill weeds. Okay, we either you kill those pathogens or whatever the things are there, or we can say that you can repel them. Okay, repelling, it is the best method. Understood? Okay, for example, Margosa is a neem. Okay, Chrysanthemum, Bacillus thuringiensis, this is bacteria. So they all helps us in making pesticides. In using pesticides, neem leaves are often used in the grain. Okay, to repel the pathogens or to repel the insects. Okay, so this is the organic farming. Now, what are the advantages? How they helps us organic farming? See, organic farming can be held because they do not pollution of any component of the environment. It prevents us to not to pollute more pollutants. Farm wastes can be recycled. Recycling process is very easy. It's free from pesticides and toxic chemicals. Okay, so whatever we are getting in the from the market nowadays, we should wash it properly, we should sterilize it properly. Why we need to sterilize it? Because if we are not sterilizing, there is some chances of some pesticides or insecticides on that food. Okay, for example, if you are buying some uh, a cucumber, so don't eat like this only. Okay, we need a fruit, a apple. If you want to buy it, you have to wash it properly on a running water. Okay, because some chances of pesticides or insecticides will be there at the time of spraying. Okay, so there is no problem in this method. Organic farming maintains the soil fertility, and cropping system is maintained so that we can get rid of pests and weeds. These should be under checked. So these are some of the organic farming methods by which we can grow more and more foods affordably. Okay, now how to improve this crop yield, means the production of crop yield should be high. How to do this? To do this, for this process, we need to understand what do you mean by agriculture. The definition of the agriculture we need to understand. Agriculture is the science and practice of farming, which mainly involves rearing of livestock, cultivating land, raising crops, harvesting, and marketing the produce. One word here, marketing is also important. If a farmer is able to grow more and more crops, he stores also, but if we do not know about the tactics of some marketing, then it will be a waste of growing that amount of crop, because if you are not getting the profit, it will be very difficult for them for the next crop to grow. So they should know about the marketing tactics also. Okay, so after that, this improvement of crop yield, one or more topics are there. For example, what do you mean by agronomy? Agronomy is meant the branch of the agriculture science dealing with the production of field crops. What do you mean by horticulture? It is the management of fruit and flowering plants. Olericulture, managing of the vegetables only. How to manage the vegetables. What do you mean by aquaculture? It's the harvesting of the plants and animals in the water body for economical purpose. For example, there is breeding of the fish. It's called aquaculture. Agronomists are those scientists which studies about crop disease, selective breeding, crop rotation, climatic condition, test the soil. Okay, so whatever the improvement is there in the crop field, so they are the scientists or specialists. They are called the agronomist. Fine. Now, what do you mean by the crop? How these crops, why we need crop, and what they actually produces. So when the same kind of, this is the definition of crop, when the same kind of plants are grown in the field, okay, on a large scale to obtain food like cereals, pulses, vegetables, this is called crop. Means we need to what? We need to grow in a large scale. So that is called the crop. Some of the important crops which we get, that for example the cereal crop. We have seen the cereal crop: wheat, paddy, maize, millet. Pulses are there, oil seeds, vegetables, fruits. These all are crops only if you are growing in a large scale. Spices like chili, turmeric in a large scale. Fodders are those plants which is used to give to the animals. Barsi, moat, Sudan grass. Others crops are also there, like tobacco, tea, coffee, chocolate, cocoa. So these are the some crops which are going to grow or planted to get maximum profit. Okay. So in India, how it can be done, that the cropping season. Okay. So there are two types of cropping season in India, depending on the different condition, require different conditions. Okay, it requires different climatic conditions, temperature, photo period, and the growth and maturity. So what do you mean by the photo period? Is a duration of sunlight that influences the plant in their growth, flowering, formation, storage. Means photo period, due to different photo period, plants have different photo period, different factors to grow. So in India, there are two main seasons for crop growth: the Rabi crop and the Kharif crop. So these are the two seasons. So what is the Kharif crop? We have seen Kharif crop where in yes, these are the crops called the rainy season crop. Okay, and the rainy season in India is generally from June to September. From Indian period, generally paddy plant is grown under this Kharif crop. Okay, and this is a monsoon season also. For example, the rice, corn, soybean, sugarcane, these are the some Kharif crops. Rabi crop. Rabi crops are just opposite. It's just opposite of the Kharif. That is winter season. The time period generally from October to March. Okay. Some examples from here is the wheat, oat, chickpea, mustard. So these are some Rabi crop. Fine. This is difference between the Kharif crop and Rabi crop. You need to understand. You need to memorize this. This is the monsoon. This is non-monsoon. They grow in hot and wet conditions. They grow in cold conditions. Okay. This is the duration. This is the harvesting time when they have to harvest. And examples. 5 examples should be there. So maximum this question comes for 3 marks only. So you have to write 5 points easily. Okay. So today till here we are going to see, and after that we'll start from next class the how we are using different techniques to grow these types of crops. Okay. So don't think about this chapter is quite bored. This is interesting also. If you take some interest that how crops can be grow more and more, we'll see different methods also. Okay. So till then, goodbye.